health.
So you and I were down in Oxford, as were many people, to watch that epic battle between Ole Miss and Alabama, and, of course, the party on the Grove, ESPN Game Day, and all that good stuff that went along with it. A lot of great stories coming out of it, from Katy Perry to Woody Harrelson to a bunch of the Grizzlies that were at the game. Well, just a couple of days ago, I'm reading about some of the atmosphere in Oxford and maybe some of the things that I didn't know about when I was down there, and read about this story about the college football guys, the CFB guys on Twitter. So it's at the CFB guys. And their story is pretty neat. And they were down in the Grove, and they were at the game, and they had a splendid time. And I contacted Jeremy Joseph, who's one of the four guys that get together and they go on these football trips. And it's a great story. So I wanted to bring him on to talk about his experience and talk about what they're all about. And Jeremy joins us now on the Cadence Bank phone line here on Sports 56 Middays. Hey, Jeremy, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
Man, doing good. Real quick, and a little synopsis. Tell everybody about your story.
All right. Well, I'll try to go quick. It's been a crazy, week, and honestly, we're still on a little bit of a high from the game and everything. So it's been kind of crazy. But we started about 5 years ago, and kind of the quick backstory is that we all went to small colleges that didn't have a football team, and so we never got to experience college football as a student/fan. And so we had affiliations with colleges and up in the Northwest because of region and family and stuff, but never that true fan as a student, immersed in it and actually being a part of it. And so we decided that, we're going to go and we're going to explore and find places to go and be that fan. And we knew right off the bat we had to start in the SEC. And so we started attending SEC games, and it has been amazing ever since.
How many places have you been to now?
Total stadiums, I would say probably about 15. SEC, we just got started a few years back. We've been to Auburn, Tennessee, LSU, Oxford now, and we've got some others on our sites, and so we're just living it. We're loving what we're seeing, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more, but Oxford was one that we'll never forget.
Yeah, well, before we get to that, so there's four of you guys. So how are you able to link up those schedules? I imagine you have other jobs and trying to get the schedule together. Is that an issue?
Yeah, we're four normal guys with four normal jobs, and so yeah, and three of us or two of us are married. One's about to get married, and so we have one single guy, Justin. Shout out to Justin if there's any single ladies listening. All right,
there were plenty of them in Oxford.
Yes, there were. And so obviously our time is shrinking, right? Our available time, and so. But we get together. We all meet and we decide. We look at the schedules once the schedule's released, and we start looking at games and kind of decide from there what we want to go to, and we just make it happen. And we're back home now. But, we're trying to get another trip in this year, and we're not sure exactly where yet. But, it might be Auburn at Ole Miss again, even though we've already been there just because the experience was so great before.
Is there a goal as to how many games or places you want to go each season, or just based on schedules and?
Yeah, it kind of depends on schedule and then our real life. We don't. We'd love to do it every weekend, but obviously that can't happen, and so. We try to at least do one or two games per year. Anything above that is just extra that we'll just be very, very thankful for. So,
all right, let's talk about your experience in Oxford. When did you get there? How were you received? And what was it like on Saturday?
All right, so we had done this in the past, and our passion is really connecting with people, and we all have great personalities in that. We love people. We love making those relationships. And so when we get somewhere, we start connecting with people as much as we can, and building those relationships and those connections. And this year we added something different. It's 2014, so we went to Twitter, and we've been using this account actively probably for just over a week. And I sent out a message Monday night before the game saying, hey, where should we go? We're coming to Oxford. Where should we go? immediately, we had some people coming up to retweeting, following us. Go here. You need to do this. Hook up with this person in the Grove. Do this. Do this. And the reception was, we were feeling the love before we even took off. And so we ended up arriving Friday, and by that time we had hundreds of followers on Twitter. And anytime we would ask something, we would just, come here, do this. And we got to take a tour of the campus with Paige, who was great in the graduate department that hooked us up with a little tour. We had great tailgating with Norma, who invited us to her tailgate. We got to meet the AD, Ross Bjork, through Paige, and look at the practice facility. So the weekend was kind of nonstop for us. We had things lined up just from people, just straight from Twitter. That's how it all happened.
And this was the first time you've been where game day was there too, right?
We actually had been to game day in Knoxville 2 years ago, Florida at Knoxville. So we had experienced game day before, and it was great, and we loved Knoxville, but game day in the Grove was a whole nother level, as you know.
and you got to wave the Washington State flag.
Yeah, we have, we're from Washington, and so obviously there's some roots there, and two of the guys that we're with are, mega Washington State fans, and we waved the flag in Knoxville, and so we've had this Ole Miss plan, this trip, that trip planned for about 6 months, and when we found out game day was going to be there, it was kind of a no-brainer. We contacted the point person for the flag, and so we became, kind of the point people for that, and they shipped us the flag, and we kind of were in charge of that for the weekend also.
So out of all the places you've been to so far, where does Ole Miss stack up?
It's a clear number one. I don't even think number two is on the radar. And it's an amazing place. And we've always heard, when we started this, we started watching. You always see these top 10 lists of places to go, and the Grove is always at the top or right near the top. And we knew that, but we've been to other places that held kind of a special place. We always loved Auburn. We went to Auburn, and it was great. We connected with some great people. And I still love Auburn, but there is zero chance that it comes anywhere near the Grove. So we love Ole Miss, and that's one of the reasons why we want to go back this year, just for one of those extra trips.
Does any place overall experience is great, but does any place compare as far as the women go?
I'm a married man, but hearing from Justin, I'll tell you what, Justin can testify that. Catherine Webb really would be a 6 at Ole Miss.
They're amazing down there. It's unbelievable.
Does you always hear about bias to the SEC. Down here, obviously, we know how good this conference is. You're out there on the left coast in the Northwest, and you're probably like, well, it can't be as good as advertised. I mean, what is your gut feel about this conference, about the places you've been to in the conference, as opposed to maybe the Pac-12 places you've been to?
Yeah, I grew up on the Pac-10 and 12, and we love Pac-12 football, but we also are realists. We've been around, and we understand that it is a different level, and I think part of it is just the recruiting. I mean, how could you not? If you take a recruit to any recruit that was at that game, you take them there, how are they going to choose a USC, a UCLA, an Oregon over Ole Miss, or if they're at that game as a recruit? Like, I just think the experience that on-campus experience for those recruits is so enticing, and then they're growing up. A lot of them are from there, and so they're growing up knowing that already. So just the talent level is not the same. And, we have, Oregon is our strong horse, in our conference, and we've seen them stumble. And so, and when they play those SEC schools, it's not the same. And so, they're bigger and they're just as fast. And so that poses a problem for us over here on the left coast.
You didn't end up by chance parting with either the goalpost or Katy Perry, did you?
No, I got to touch the goalpost as it was coming down, but I don't have any pieces of it. But I did help carry it out of the stadium. It was crazy. Rushing the field is probably way less than a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? I mean, it's way down there, and we got to do that so many times when we go to games. The least talked about part of of our trip is the game. When we come back and telling friends and families about our trip, we don't talk about the game. And this time, because of how special it was and for Ole Miss and all of that, I would say the game ranks right up there. And we're telling people about it because, I mean, really, how often do you get to rush a field and, you know, be part of that? I'm on the field running around with my phone, taking pictures with players. I mean, it was crazy.
No, I can tell you this: Ross Bjork will sell you a piece of that goalpost. They're raising a lot of money.
I saw that. We met him. I'm hoping that hookup still stands. We'll see. I don't know.
All right. Before we let you go, other than you, as you said, you want to return to Ole Miss this year. That's how much you love it. But there's probably a couple of other bucket list environments that you want to be a part of that you haven't been to. So give me one or two schools that you hope you'll be able to visit in the next few years.
Yeah, we're looking at Athens, so we want to go to Georgia. You know, although we're not huge fans, we feel like we have to go down to Tuscaloosa and check that out. And then I would say those are the two big ones. But we really want to go to maybe a South Carolina at Georgia or something like that would be kind of a big draw. And you know, really our aspirations are we're not sure why people are interested in what we do. It's cool and we love it, but you know, people want to hear what we do, and so we don't know exactly what that looks like, but you know, we're hoping to do something, whether it be like some sort of, you know, documentary or maybe some sort of reality show or whatever it would be, where we can video our experiences and share that so that people can experience it with us.
It's unfortunate that the real world gets in the way, or you could have done the little Mississippi two-step that Game Day is doing and could have stayed in the state and went over to Starkville this weekend.
Man, we had a lot of pressure from a lot of people, even from Starkville fans who got a hold of our Twitter and were tweeting at us saying, hey, you know, you brought Lux to Ole Miss. Can you come down? To Starkville? And we would have loved nothing more. But yes, you're right. The real world gets in the way sometimes.
Well, you need a big booster to fly you down, like Saturday morning. You get down there, or whatever it takes to get down there in time and not to miss work. But it's a great story. Again, folks, you can follow these guys on Twitter at the CFB Boys. The CFB Boys, the college football guys.
CFB guys.
CFB I'm sorry, I can't even read my own writing.
That's all right.
The CFB
Don't call them
guys.
boys.
Yeah, you know. But obviously these Northwestern guys have been won over by the SEC. It's a great story. He's Jeremy Joseph. Jeremy, thanks so much for spending some time with us and continue to have fun, man. Enjoy it.
Cool. Thank you so much for listening to our story. It truly means a lot. Thank you.
Take care. Jeremy Joseph and the CFB guys. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll put a wrap on the show. A little NFL if we have some time. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Sports 56 Middays on Real Sports Talk.